In this video, we begin our discussions on the wealth management topics, and we'll start with Unit 1, which is primarily going to be Introduction to Wealth Management Industry. This particular segment is going to talk specifically about two or three terms: introduction to the wealth segment as such, as to what does wealth mean. Then talk about a concept called net worth, and then within the context of wealth management, once we define what is wealth and what is net worth, what are the various services which are offered under wealth management? We'll probably look at some of these areas as well as we go along, and also try and familiarize ourselves with a few terms that are typically used in the industry. So primarily, how does the banking industry play a part in this? How do other players play a part in this? That is going to be our objective of understanding over the next few sessions. So let's begin. Uh, the first idea is to understand the concept of wealth itself. Now, the idea of accumulation of resources in order to generate value such that this could be used at a later point of time, right? Wealth is primarily in the context of financial well-being of someone, and that's what we are looking at in the context of wealth. We are not looking at anything other than what can have a monetary value. We only are looking at stuff that can provide a monetary value in terms of value creation. So we are looking at accumulation of some sort of resources that can generate a value which may be needed to satisfy a goal for us. This could be a financial goal for us, right? This is what is known as wealth. So if I have resources which can give me the value that satisfies my financial goals, that is wealth, right? Now, what could these resources be, right? Some of these resources could be hard commodities, right? Agricultural resources, for example. So these are agri commodities. I can have corn, I can have coffee, I can have any other kind of crops that are available, which, typically farmers have these kind of resources. Then you could also have what are called as financial resources, right? Financial resources could be shares, which is stocks in various companies. You could have bonds, which are the fixed income instruments. We have talked about those, right? You could have some bank deposits. You could have property, which is essentially real estate, right? You could have foreign exchange. You could have some of the other parameters as well. We're going to look at some of these data points as we go along in the context of our understanding of wealth. But primarily, this is what investors would look at. This is what people who are working in the financial markets would want to kind of work with. Now, what exactly does that mean for us in terms of our overall understanding? Let's try and extend this concept. So these are resources which we could try and accumulate. Once we have accumulated these resources could in turn generate some sort of value for us, which could then fulfill some of our goals, right? So that's the idea of kind of having these resources, which might create a value over a period of time, right? Now, what is the concept of net worth? That's a term you're going to use again and again when you talk about the wealth management industry and the various segments of wealth management. In simple terms, the surplus left after paying all kinds of debts, right? So for an individual, you first look at all assets that can come up. You're looking at all assets that can come up, and these are assets such as, for example, home. You could have some sort of investments in various areas. You could have cash. You could have other real estate. You could have gold, for example. So whatever is the financial value of all these assets, you add that together. Then you look at liabilities. These are stuff that you are supposed to kind of pay off, right? What are liabilities? You could have a credit card loan. Typically, all kinds of loans will come here, right? You could have a credit card loan, you could have an auto loan, you could have a home loan, right? You could have borrowings from some other people that you have to repay. So once you